Right, so today I'm out and about shooting with the Tamron 24 to 70mm f2.8 VC. Got it all with the vibration correction on, and today is just a fantastic day for shooting. Look at how clear the sky is, and there's just no kind of, not even moisture or anything in the air, so we should be getting good, clear, sharp shots of everything. First thing which I'm going to be testing the sharpness at the different apertures is this mountain over here. This is Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, and okay, there's a little bit of atmosphere in the way, so it's probably not the most contrasty subject which we could get. That's more kind of close-up and close-up stuff. But here, this is a good thing with lots of detail that will definitely show up the strengths and the weaknesses in the Tamron lens. So let's see how it does. This is also going to be a good place for me to try and capture some shots of checking out the autofocus speed and accuracy. In this area there's quite a lot of joggers, cyclers, but not cars today because cars aren't allowed in. So I'm going to try and shoot some joggers today and just see how well it keeps up with them. Now I'm back at home and we can have a good close look at the photos which I've taken. Now remember, these photos were taken on the Nikon D700, a 12 megapixel full frame camera. So let's look at the details here. If I press Ctrl I can get the specific details that I want. So if I press I, nothing. There, that tells me nothing. And then that, okay, 2000th of a second, f2.8, ISO 200, blah, blah, blah. That's the stuff I need to know. Okay, here straight away, the image itself actually looks like it's got barrel distortion. That's because we've got some sweet ass vignetting up in the corners. Okay, whenever you're doing landscapes, you're not really going to be shooting at f2.8, so that will hopefully go once we stop down a bit. This is more about image quality of the detail that we can get. So vignetting, I'm letting it go just now, but let's say we zoom in. And now, these are all in the raw. Let me just add a little bit of sharpening, a little bit of clarity to all the images. Right, so even at f2.8, I suspect everything will be sharp from this lamp, as you can see, sharp all the way to the, all the way to the kind of background stuff here. And yet, I can tell this is a little kid with a red coat, and that's the dad with a brown jacket and jeans. So I would consider that to be very good sharpness there. I have heard of reports where people are saying that having the VC, the vibration control or compensation on, when you're at fast shutter speeds, degrades the image. Now I had the VC on for all of these photos. Obviously, why would I take it off? I didn't think there was an issue. But certainly, I can't see an issue here at all. So if we go from this one, that's f2.8. to f4, so one stop down, but significantly brighter, isn't it? And now the settings are what should be right. So it is 1,000th of a second, so that's one stop longer. It's still ISO 200, and the f2.8 to f4, that's one stop. So it should be exactly the same exposure. However, it very much isn't. Something is definitely changing within the image. Okay, so let's say, well, first of all, if we look up at the histogram, f2.8, so we've got the red in between the yellow and the green there, and if we go to the next one, oh, it's right over, vastly over. So there's definitely a huge, I would consider that huge, quite a big exposure difference when there shouldn't be. You know, if you're on aperture priority, there shouldn't be. This should look exactly the same, maybe a bit of vignetting disappearing. So that's surprising, which makes me think that maybe there's something lying about the actual aperture size. Not too sure about that one yet. So anyway, this one certainly looks a heck load brighter. And if we look at the kind of dark area here at f4, back to f2, f2 was definitely darker in this area. And as you'll see over at the side, I've added, it's all exactly the same, 533 and all that. And then this one, 533 and all the same. So, it's not anything that the computer has done that's different, but it's definitely different. It's even like, there's even more saturation. Now, like the green looks greener, and here it just looks brighter. Okay, so, let's see if I bring this down by... Okay, so I've got the histograms, so they look roughly the same. So in this one, this is at f2.8, and if we go to the f4 and bring it down to a minus 0.7 to have roughly the same histogram. Interesting, interesting. That may be affected by the vignetting at the corners being darker in the f2.8, and that's affected it, but very strange. So there's something to look out for there when you're exposing your images. And then, but then it looks like if I bring the f4 back up to where it was, if I go to the f4, the what's this, 5.6, the f8, and the f11, they all, well, the f11 looks a little bit darker, but yeah, they're all looking like they're in the right area of the same exposures. Okay, so f2.8, definitely, you can either call it more accurate, or you could call it darker, or you could call the other one too bright, or whatnot. I don't know. It's a tough one to choose. Interesting. Okay, but in terms, okay, we'll go up to f5.6. This should be super sharp. That is very sharp. I would say there is definitely an improvement from f2.8. If we, for example, okay, we're going to have to go super duper in so this is 3:1. Let's see. So at 5.6 and at 2.8, 5.6. I'll bring the exposure down so it looks a little bit better. Okay, can't physically see a difference on that one. It's certainly on my lens here. So what I can say is the sharpness in the center at f2.8 is just as sharp as it is at f5.6. So that's good. What about a little bit more at the corners? So again, up here, like I always think right up there is a bit of a useless area, but here, kind of near the edge, so kind of right there, if you're having a group of people, that's roughly where they'll be. Let's say we look at this bushy bit here. Let's just calm down the zoom in, and we get that to there, so that's there, and that's at f5.6. f2.8, I suspect this one will be mush. Okay, f5.6 here, looking darn sharp. Wow, okay, f2.8, equally, whew. Apart from the slight exposure difference, and obviously the what do you call it, vignetting going on, whoa, that's a tough one to call. Okay, I'm actually looking almost at individual pixels, and yay, okay, the f2.8 is a little bit softer, but we're talking no one will notice. No one will notice. Look at the bushes compared to there, yeah, wow, okay, so that straight off, I would say it looks like the VC is not degrading that image in any way, and the sharpness both in the center and at the center side, very good throughout the range. Now that was at 24 mils. Let's sit back, let's have a little relax, and let's look at it at 70 mils. It's the most zoomed in bit. So again, same place, same shot, same thing. Okay, let's first of all look at the exposure difference. Definitely, again, it's shifted up the weight, even though settings are a little bit closer. Here's a 1/1600th of a second, and there's 1,000th of a second. So it should actually be closer. Let's see what I need to do to get this to be the same exposure. It seems to be exactly the same again. So if I bring the exposure down, and we've got it at, yeah, if I'll zoom in to the bit that's important, on the histogram, if I put this right above the green bit, on the f2.8, that's it all at 0, and we are just at the top of the green. And if we go to the other one, I have to bring it down to minus 0.7 to be just on top of the green again. So yeah, there's definitely some exposure something going on. Vignetting again is pretty obvious f2.8 compared to like f4 there. So next thing, sharpness, central. Okay, when we're in the center, we can see this little person down at the side here. Again, this is us zoomed in 2:1 on a full 27-inch Super Mac. And at 2.8, that looks pretty good. I can see all the rocks and everything. Let's see, f4. Is that sharper? Maybe. Okay, I would go with that. And then once we go up again, let's bring this exposure down to roughly the same. F5.6, I was, right, okay, we're really, it's a difficult one to call here. But yeah, okay, it definitely does get sharper. So f2.8 there to f5.6 here. If we even look at this stuff down here, if we go down, so 2.8 looks a little bit mushy. Here, it can't really get sharper. Either way, it's astonishing. So yeah. Okay, sharpness wise, I'm happy with it. Vibration control, I'm happy with that. Detail that it's picking up, fantastic. On a full frame, both at wide angle and at telephoto. And again, I'm seeing, like, this is a high contrast image and I'm seeing no chromatic aberration on these raw files. And normally raw files really suck at having CA all over it. But here, barely anything at all. Whew, okay. What I can say, definitely for my lens, sharpness and everything is good. However, there is an exposure differences where there shouldn't be. So I'll need to figure that one out. Hope that helps. Cheers. Bye-bye.